four คุณมิก number three number four
Firm.
go jump
No.
hello where you from number four
dulu aja bang, Novo bang. Novo dulu bang.
Apa?
Novo aja dulu, ayo Novo ayo.
Oke, oke.
Ya, kenapa? Bang. Abang. Malas anjing.
Hey guys, so this week is DIY week. So I'm going to show you how to DIY a blackjack scam. Now I'm not trying to teach anybody how to scam people out of their money. I'm trying to teach people how to avoid these scams. If something is too good to be true, it probably is. So without further ado, here is the scam, and afterwards I will explain to you how it works. Hi, I'm Aaron Paul. I'm going to show you several of the bets used in the I promise this is not a scam, how to win $5,000 a day by playing a blackjack system. A blackjack system which uses a small bankroll to consistently win large amounts of money at low risk. Once you learn how to use this system, you will easily beat blackjack both online and in land-based casinos. Playing blackjack using this system is highly profitable. It's based on game theory, and is nothing like any blackjack system you've ever seen. It's not only easy to learn and easy easy to use, but it's the fastest winning blackjack system. Let me give you an idea of how profitable this system is. $10 bettors average $866 an hour using this formula, and $100 bettors in land-based games will average $1,978 an hour without fail. This formula is based on finding and exploiting short-term trends in blackjack games. Let's see how the system works, and I'll make a series of bets using this method. Now let's start with the $50 bankroll. At the beginning of every game, we start out with betting one unit, in this case $5. The dealer is going to burn a card and play out the hand. We have a 17, so we have to stay. 19, we lose. Now the system says to make a $15 bet. A 13 is not very good, but we have to take a hit, and we lose that hand. Next, the system says to bet $20, and we make a blackjack. That's a good $30 win. Next, the system tells us to cut back and only bet $10. Dealer has a 6, so we have to stay. 17, dealer has to hit. And the dealer makes an 18, that means we lose. Next, the system says to bet $15. 16 against a 2, we have to stay. Dealer has 12, dealer has 15, dealer busts. Next, the system says to bet $5. Well, we have a 10 against a 3, so we have to double it. Oh, we got a 16. Dealer has 13, dealer has 19. So we lose that bet. Now the system says to make a $20 bet. Dealer has a 10, but we have 2 aces, so we have to split them. We are only going to get 1 card. There you go, those are 2 good hands. And dealer has 17. So we win both those hands. Now as you can see, with just a few short hands, we started with $50. And we made, that's $25, $30, $40, $45 in just a few minutes. Using this system, you can win $866 an hour using this very system. Visit our website in the description below. There, you'll get the I promise this is not a scam, how to win $5,000 a day by playing blackjack system, as well as our how to play blackjack for beginners guide. As with any item purchased on our website, if you're not completely satisfied and these systems do not perform,
Steve and Dave use eToro to invest in the financial markets. Steve does research on...
Hey, I'm Colin from Blackjack Apprenticeship, and in this video, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about how to play the game of blackjack, as well as how it can be beat. Hey, I'm Colin, and I'm here with my good friend David, aka Loud and Often, and we're going to teach you how to play the game of blackjack. We have been professional blackjack players for roughly 15 years. We have played individually. We've played as part of teams responsible for beating casinos for roughly $4 million, and we now teach others how to beat blackjack through Blackjack Apprenticeship. And in this video, we're going to show you how to play blackjack and eventually how it can be beat. Before we can talk about how to play the game of blackjack, we first need to talk about what the goal or the objective of the game is, which is to, in its simplest form, beat the dealer. Unlike poker where you're playing against other players, in blackjack, it's all about your game against the dealer. How do you beat the dealer? Basically by getting closer to 21 than the dealer without going over 21. That's why they call the game 21. And how do you lose? There's a couple ways you can lose. If the dealer gets closer to 21 than you lose. Or if you go over 21, you lose right away. So what we have right here is a 1/4 of 1 deck of cards. So this is 2 through ace. And in blackjack, the 2 through 10 are simply going to be their point value. So a 2 is going to be worth 2 points, and a 10 is going to be worth 10 points. And then a jack, queen, and king are also going to be worth 10 points. So 10, jack, queen, and king are all 10 value cards. And then an ace is unique in that it can be a 1 or an 11, whichever is going to be the best for the hand. Ace and a 2 is going to be a 3 or a 13, whichever is better for the hand. So let's talk about how the game is dealt. Both the player and the dealer get 2 cards, but the dealer only shows 1 card while the other card is kept face down. At this point, the player always goes first, and they have an option to take more cards or to stay. They actually have a few other decisions we'll get to in a minute, but they always go first and decide if they want more cards or to stay, with the goal of getting closer to 21 than the dealer without going over. The player has an 18 and is going to stay, and the dealer has a 16, and since he has to hit till he has a 17, he has no choice but to hit. Now he has a 17, and even though the dealer has a worse hand than the player, the dealer has to stay at 17, and so the player is going to win. After the round is played, there are 3 outcomes for payouts. If the player wins, they get paid an equal amount to what they had just bet. If they lose their entire bet. If they push, which is to get the same point value as the dealer, then they don't win or lose, and the next round begins. But wait, There's another way that you can win at blackjack automatically, and that's if you're dealt a blackjack, or what we call a natural. So it looks like this. If you're dealt an ace and a 10 value card as your first two cards, we call that a blackjack. And as long as the dealer doesn't also have a blackjack, you win automatically. So if you're dealt a blackjack, it gets paid right away. And like it says on this felt, blackjacks pay 3 to 2. So David is betting 400 here. It's going to get paid 600, which is 3 to 2 or 150%. But beware, because there are some greedy casinos out there that have started to offer a inferior form of blackjack where it doesn't pay 3 to 2, it pays 6 to 5, or even paying even money, which would be paying like a normal hand. And you don't want to play those games ever, because a big part of you not having a large disadvantage from the casino, or if you learn to become a card counter like us and you want to beat the game, you're going to need a 3 to 2 blackjack game to even have a chance to beat them. So let's deal some example rounds and show you how this works. So in this example, the first player is going to stay. So is the second player, and then the third player is going to hit, and now they would stay. And in this situation, the dealer has an 18, the first player has a 17, so he's going to lose. The second player has a 19, which beats the dealer's 18, so he's going to win. And then this third player has an 18, which is the same as the dealer's hand, so that would be a push. They don't win or lose. So in the second example, here this first player has a 12 against a 7. If they were to hit, they have 22, so they went over 21. He's going to lose right away, regardless of what the dealer ends up getting. So he loses. The 19, he's going to stay. And the dealer has a 13, so the dealer has to hit. And the dealer also went over 21. So this 19 is going to win. But again, this is really important, that because the player always plays first, they lose if both the player and the dealer bust. The player loses. That's a big part of how the casino gets the advantage at blackjack. Third example, the player is dealt, boom, blackjack. And with the blackjack, as long as the dealer doesn't have a blackjack, the player wins right away. But not only do they win right away, but they get paid, just like this says, blackjacks pay 3 to 2. The player is going to get paid 3 chips to his 2, or 150%. And that doesn't matter if you're betting $5 or $5,000, you get paid 150% of your bet when you get a blackjack. And that's really important, because that's part of how the player can try to regain the advantage against the casino. The player needs that extra 50% on blackjacks to even have a fighting chance against the casino. So let's talk about playing decisions. There are 4 main playing decisions that you as a player can make at the blackjack table. There's hitting, standing, splitting, and doubling down. And we're going to break down each one of those for you. But just so you know, there's actually a chart, and we'll put a link to it in the description below, that will tell you the proper playing decision for every hand of blackjack. It's called Basic Strategy, and it was created by mathematicians, and it is the best way to play every possible hand in the game. David, how long would you say it takes to memorize Basic Strategy?
A couple hours a day for a couple weeks.
Yeah, a couple hours a day for a couple weeks to know how to play perfect blackjack. That's not going to give you the advantage over the casino. You need card counting for that. But with proper Basic Strategy, you're playing every hand properly, and it's going to cut the casino's edge to a very small margin, roughly half of 1%. First, let's talk about hitting. Why would a player hit?
To get a better hand.
Yeah, to take another card. So let's show you what that looks like. So in this situation, we have an 8 against a 7, so the player is going to want to hit. And you're going to do that by tapping or scraping or some form of tapping the table, and then the dealer will give you another card. So then your next option would be standing, and that's if you don't want another card. So now you have an 18 against the dealer's 7, you're going to want to stand, and so you're going to just wave that hand off, and then your hand is over. Our next playing decision would be to stand. When would you stand?
When you have a good hand or you don't want to bust.
So the third option would be doubling down, and that's only available on your first 2 cards, or sometimes after you split your hand. We'll show you that in a minute. And when you double down, you're going to place an equal bet to your original bet. You can bet up to your original bet. A little pro tip, you would never double down for anything less than the full amount, and you would always double down when Basic Strategy says to double down. So let me show you what that looks like. So with doubling down, each of these hands are actually technically a hand you should double down. So this first one's a 9. What you're going to do is put an equal bet next to it and place one finger out, and the dealer's going to give you one card sideways to signify that you can't hit that hand. That hand is over. Here's an 11. An 11 is always going to double down against a 6. And then again, on this last hand, it's a soft 18. So this is an 8 or 18, and the correct decision would be to double down. And at that point, all 3 of these hands are done, and you have to just hope that the dealer's going to bust. Boom! And then you get paid out on all those bets. Another thing to be aware of, as far as proper basic strategy at blackjack, doubling down situations are all situations where you have an advantageous hand. So while you might feel scared to put another bet out there to match your original bet, it is the proper way to play it. And if you don't double down when you're supposed to, you're really just costing yourself money over the long run. Splitting is an option when you have 2 cards that are of equal value to each other. So if you have a pair of 2s or a pair of 7s or even a pair of 10s, you have the option to split those cards. So here we have a pair of 8s, and to split those, you're going to put a second equal bet out and split your fingers like saying 2 hands, and then you're going to get dealt. And here you got another 8, so you can actually split that again. So you're going to do the exact same thing, and then you're going to get dealt into 3 separate hands, and you're going to stand on each of these. And then over here we have a pair of aces, which is always going to split. So again, you put 2 fingers out to say 2 hands, and with a pair of aces you only get dealt 1 card to those, and so the dealer's going to put them sideways to signify that you can't hit, and those hands are over, and then the dealer's going to play out their hand. So again, if you want to know how to play proper basic strategy, there's a link below in the description so you can learn the proper way to play every hand of blackjack.
Which doesn't guarantee you're going to win, it just gives you the best chance.
So there's one other option for the player when the dealer has an ace up, and that's to buy insurance. So how that works is that if you want to insure your hand against the dealer's blackjack, they're going to do this and say insurance and let you buy insurance. To do that, you would put half of your bet into the insurance line right here. And at that point, if the dealer does have a blackjack, you would lose your hand because you have a 14 and they have a blackjack, but then insurance is going to pay 2 to 1. And so that means basically you're going to break even. Now, if you're just following basic strategy, you should never buy insurance, but that's how that playing decision works. So unless you're a card counter, don't ever buy insurance. David, do you agree?
Well, basic strategy says it's not a smart bet.
So when you're at the casino, there's going to be other players or dealers that are going to say, oh, well, you should insure if you have a good hand, or don't insure a bad hand. Oh, that's all just kind of casino mumbo jumbo. It's not based on math or logic. And so unless you're learning how to count cards like David and I, just don't ever buy insurance. There's one other playing decision that we didn't talk about yet, which is called surrender. And it's only offered at maybe 10% of casinos. But if the casino does offer it, it actually is valuable to the player if you know how to play it properly. So if you're at a casino that offers surrender, if it's a hand that you want to surrender, what you're going to do is slide your finger across the table, make a line, and you probably want to say surrender just so that the casino knows that that's clearly what you want to do. And how it works is you forfeit your hand right away and only lose half your bet. So you would lose 5 of the $10 right there before the hand is ever played out, and the hand is over. Mathematically, if it's a hand where the casino has a better than 50% advantage over you, you would just surrender half your bet and move on to the next round. At this point, you might be thinking, hey, this sounds great. All I have to do is follow basic strategy and beat the dealer. Is it that simple, David?
Well, you do have to use your brain a little bit.
Yeah, so, well, what if I just am a
Alright, YouTubers, for my regular followers who may have seen my previous slot session, This is the last of the lucky run, high stakes balance, whatever you want to call it. Not something I usually do. What I'd like to think are hemp's high stakes. 100, 200 hands, etc. Stuff like that. This is the last of it. This is double or nothing. Double or nothing. Free card poker. 1,000 versus free card poker. Double or nothing. If we lose, we lose. It's been fun. If we win, double it. I'm going to take it on roulette probably. Keep the show going. If we win, double it. I'm going to take it on roulette probably. Keep the show going. So, let's let fate and Lady Luck decide what happens next. Fingers crossed. I'm going to have a fresh dealer. A lucky dealer. Yep, just checking the captures on. Yep, good. Yep, last 1,000 balance. I've enjoyed it though. going to play that one. Free card poker. We'd have lost. See, I had a little reminder earlier of how quick slots can take your money. Pair of aces, which is why I prefer table games, I think. Got back into them recently. Slower, you can see what's going on. More thinking behind it. And yeah, I just think I'll be playing more table games. Fair enough. We play. Of course we play. It's all good. I'm going to double our money straight away. When you're winning, up the stake. That's how you get momentum. Do-do-do-do-do. No good.